So good morning students. Now we'll see about the non-saturating precision half-wave rectifier. So non-saturating means your op-amp output is not going to be saturated there. That is called as your non-saturating precision rectifier. Now we'll see the operation of this non-saturating precision rectifier. So here we are going to give the positive voltage. So we are going to take an operational amplifier where the operational amplifier is going to be connected in the inverting mode. So it is going to be connected in the inverting mode. Your input signal is going to be connected to the inverting terminal of your operational amplifier through your resistance R1. And we are going to have two feedback paths, where one feedback path is going to be between the inverting terminal and the op-amp output. So this op-amp output we can name it as your VOA. So here one feedback path is going to be the diode D1 and the other feedback is going to be, you are going to have a resistance R2. So the output of this first feedback is going to be given to a diode D2, and then this output of this diode D2 is going to be connected to the input of your operational amplifier through the feedback resistance R2, and this is going to be your load resistance RL. Now your input voltage is going to be a positive voltage. So if my input voltage is going to be positive, the voltage at this point is also going to be positive. When the voltage at this point is going to be positive, the inverting input terminal is going to be positive, means the output VOA is going to be negative. So your first condition is when your VI is going to be positive. So when VI is going to be positive, my VOA is going to be positive. So when my VOA is going to be, when VI is positive, my VOA is going to be a negative voltage there. So when it is going to be negative, the diode D1, this negative is going to be connected to negative and this positive is going to be connected to the positive there. That means my diode D1 is going to be in the forward bias state. So forward bias state means it is going to act like a closed switch there. And coming to your diode D2, since this is a negative voltage, this negative is going to be connected to positive. That means this is going to act, your diode D2 is going to act as a reverse bias there. So when the diode D2 is going to act as a reverse bias, this will act like an open circuit. So here in this case, it will act like an open circuit there. When it is going to act like an open circuit, I will not be having any output voltage to be present. So here in this case, there is going to be no output during the positive cycle. So here your D1 is on, D2 is going to be off, and in that case I will not be getting, since D2 is off, there is going to be no current that is going to flow through the load resistance RL, and I will not have any output voltage there. Now the next condition is when my VI is going to be negative. So the second condition is when VI is negative. When VI is going to be negative, since it is going to be connected to the inverting terminal of your operational amplifier, my VOA is going to be positive there. So when VOA is going to be positive, your diode, this positive will be connected to your diode negative of the diode D1. So that means that your diode D1 is going to be reverse biased. So reverse bias means it is going to act like an open switch there. When it is going to act like an open switch, no current will flow through this circuit there. So all the current will flow through this circuit only, this resistance RF. And now we can see that your diode D2. So since here this is positive is going to be connected to positive of the diode. That means my diode D2 is going to be in the forward bias state. So now this will act like a closed switch there. So when it is going to act like a closed switch, the circuit is going to be like this. So here in this case you are going to have, this is your negative terminal, this is your positive terminal. You are going to have your resistance R3 here, and here I am going to have my input resistance to be present, and this is your feedback resistance alone is going to be present because this is the open circuit there. And now this is going to act like this is your output voltage there. So now if I am going to observe, this is your VI, that is a negative VI there. So here this circuit is going to behave like an inverting amplifier. So when it is going to behave like an inverting amplifier, my output expression is going to be V0 is equivalent to your minus, what is the feedback resistance I am going to have here? It is your R2 divided by input resistance is going to be R1 into your input voltage is going to be minus VI. So here in this case, if I am going to see, minus into minus is going to be plus. So minus into minus is plus means my output voltage is going to be positive. So here I am going to have my output voltage to be positive for the negative half of your input signal there. So this is how a non-saturating precision rectifier is going to operate. So here to have the unity gain, your R2 should be equivalent to your R1 resistance value there. So here for the negative half cycle, we are going to get the positive output waveform. So we say that your non-saturating half-wave precision rectifier circuit is going to be shown where Vi is going to be greater than 0. The voltage at the inverting input becomes positive. That means we are going to force the output VOA to go to negative. So here this is going to result in forward biasing of the diode D1, and the op-amp output is going to be dropped only by 0.7 volts there, which is going to be below the inverting input voltage, and diode D2 becomes reverse biased. So when diode D2 becomes reverse biased, the output voltage V0 is going to be 0. So when the output voltage is going to be 0, when the input is going to be positive. Next is when Vi is going to be greater than 0, the op-amp output VOA becomes positive. So when VOA becomes positive, your forward biasing of the diode D2 happens and reverse biasing of the diode D1 happens there. So the circuit will act like an inverting amplifier with a non-linear diode in the forward path. So the gain of the circuit can be unity when R2 is equal to R1. So we can write that when Vi is greater than 0, my V0 is equal to 0. When Vi is less than 0, my output voltage is going to be minus R2 by R1 into Vi. So suppose if R2 is going to be greater than my R1 value, then the output is going to be amplified by some factor here, some version of the input, some scalar value of the input signal there. So we can define the voltage VOA at the op-amp output is VOA is equal to minus 0.7 volts for Vi greater than 0, and VOA is going to be minus R2 by R1 into V1 plus that 0.7 volts because of the diode in the forward bias condition for Vi less than 0. So here in this figure we can see that for the negative half cycle of the input is going to be passed to the output, while the positive half cycle is going to be clipped off. So when I want a reverse to happen, what we can do is we can change the direction of the diodes in the circuit and see that the negative half cycle is going to be clipped and we can have the positive half cycle to be inverted there, and it can be reproduced at the output. So next is we are going to see the design of non-saturating precision rectifier. So the design of an inverting amplifier is the diodes should have a maximum reverse voltage there. So first is we have to design the inverting amplifier. After designing the inverting amplifier, next we should see the diode value there. So the diode reverse recovery voltage, that is the reverse voltage, maximum reverse voltage should be greater than the supply voltage there. That is, it should be VCC, VR should be greater than VCC minus of minus VE. That means that it should be greater than the supply voltage 30 volts there, if VCC is going to be plus or minus 15 volts. Now the diode reverse recovery time should be too small, that should be much smaller than the time period of the highest signal frequency to be processed there. Then only we can say that we can have a non-saturating precision rectifier. So we are going to design a non-saturating precision half-wave rectifier as in the figure above to produce a 2 volts peak output from a sine wave input with peak value of 0.5 volts and frequency of 1 megahertz. So use a bipolar op-amp with supply voltage of plus or minus 15 volts. So the data that are given is your output is going to be 2 volts and input is going to be 0.5 volts and the frequency of operation is going to be 1 megahertz. So first what we have to do is we have to design the inverting amplifier there. To design the inverting amplifier, we are going to choose the I1 value there. So you know that in your inverting amplifier, you are going to have, this is your minus, this is your plus. You are going to have this your R1 resistance and this is going to be your R2 resistance. And this is going to be a compensating resistor, that is going to be your R3. That R3 is nothing but the parallel combination of these two resistors. So it is R1 parallel R2, the compensation resistors there. Now our requirement is to find out your R1 value. So to know this R1, I should know your VI is given in the problem. So I should know what should be the I1 there. So generally we know that your I1 current is going to be greater than your IB max, that is the maximum bias current that is going to flow. So suppose I am going to assume that I1 is equal to 500 microamps. This is the adequate diode current for your V1. So you should remember this two equations there. Your I1 is greater than IB max, and we are going to assume I1 is equal to 500 microamps. So suppose I am going to assume the voltage at this point to be V2. So your I1 is going to be the current that is going to flow through this resistance R1. So I can write I1 is equivalent to your VI input voltage minus this V2 voltage divided by your R1. So we know that this V2 is nothing but a virtual ground. So when virtual ground means V2 is going to be 0. That means my I1 is going to be here. I want to find R1. So what is R1 from this? R1 is equivalent to VI divided by I1. So VI is nothing but 0.5 volts and I1 is going to be 500 microamps. So here in this case my R1 value is going to be 1 kilo ohm. So I have designed first R1 there. Next I should design your R2. So to design this R2, from here the current flows like this. So anyway the current drawn by the input terminals of your operational amplifier is negligible. So the same current I1 only will flow through here. So now this I1 in terms of V0 is going to be, your I1 is equivalent to V2 minus V0 divided by R2. We know that V2 is going to be at virtual ground because this is connected to the ground terminal there. So this is going to be 0. So my V0 is going to be, I want R2. So R2 is equivalent to minus V0 divided by I1. So V0 is nothing but here 2 volts. So resistance cannot be negative. So we write it as your V0 is going by I1. So V0 is going to be here 2 volts divided by I1 is 500 microamps. That value is going to be 4 kilo ohms. So since we don't have standard 4 kilo ohms, we use 3.9 kilo ohm standard value there. And this next is, we have this now calculated R2. Next we have to calculate R3. R3 is nothing but R1 parallel R2 combination. So here R1 is 1 kilo ohm, R2 is nothing but we are going to use the standard value 3.9. So 1 kilo ohm parallel 3.9 kilo ohm is nothing but 796 ohms. So we don't have standard value here, so we use 820 ohm standard value. Now we have designed it. Next we have to see what is going to be the maximum reverse voltage there. So that is the diode reverse voltage. So to calculate that, we are going to calculate what is VR. So the VR should be greater than your VCC, that is the supply voltage. So supply voltage is VCC minus of minus VE, that is 15 minus of minus 15 volts is 30 volts there. The maximum reverse voltage of the diode should be greater than 30 volts. Next I should calculate the diode reverse recovery time. The diode reverse recovery time should be less than the time period T, that is the maximum time period of the frequency signal which you are going to process. So TRR max is equivalent to T by 10, that is 1 by 10 into F. So the clock frequency they are given as 1 megahertz. So 1 by 10 into 1 megahertz is 1 by 10 is 0.1. So this 1 megahertz, if I take it to the numerator, it is going to be 0.1 microseconds. Thank you.